Look at the food. Like, does it smell in there? How comfortable can he feel? It looks like he's interrupted her. He's going to feel put out. He's going to feel emotional. He's going to feel like, can I trust this person? They can't even clear up after themselves. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to some therapists in movies to give you an understanding if they're doing something right, if they're doing something wrong, if it's realistic, if it's something that I would do. So let's get on to the first clip.
How are you? Where are you from in Southie?
How are you? When we go to therapy, we think the therapist is going to be quiet, they're not going to say anything, and actually human interaction is something that's so important in order to gain trust, respect, understanding, and to heal someone. You don't want to be talking to a brick wall, right? You want to empathize with that person. And Robin Williams, his character, sitting down and just asking how his patient or client is.
Where are you from in Southie?
I like what you've done with the place.
Oh, thanks.
Do you buy all these books retail, or do you send away for like a shrink kit that comes with all these?
I love the way he diverts. Matt Damon is saying, look, do you get all this stuff, a shrink kit? But the therapist just says, do you read books? He's relating it back to his client. He's trying to make it personal to him, understand why he's saying the things he's saying, trying to build on that relationship and trying to understand what's going on in his head.
The United States of America, A Complete History, Volume 1. Jesus.
Look at that picture. That's something that actually I don't have in my therapy room. I have pictures of things I'm interested in and books that I've read too, but I won't have any pictures of me or my life because it detracts from what the client thinks about me. So, it's interesting that he has a picture of himself up on there because it's not something that I'd recommend personally.
You want to read a real history book, read Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States. That book will fucking knock you on your ass.
Better than Chomsky's Manufacturing Consent? You think that's a good book?
Fucking people baffle me. Spend all your money on these fucking fancy books. You surround yourselves with them. They're the wrong fucking books.
What are the right fucking books, Will?
Hey, whatever blows your hair back.
Yeah.
The therapist swore then, and you think, well, therapists can't swear. They can't be themselves. They have to be, prim and proper and say the right thing and be neutral. In fact, by mirroring your client's speech and language, you're able to, again, connect with them more. It's something that we're taught very early on, is to connect with your clients.
Yeah, I know. It really gets in the way of my yoga.
You work out, huh?
What, you lift?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nautilus?
No, free weights.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Free weights, huh?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah?
Just like that.
What do you bench?
285. What do you bench?
You paint that?
Look what just happened there. They're talking about lifting and exercise, and all of a sudden he changes the topic. And there's many reasons why the client might do that, but look at Robin Williams, just dancing between subjects, whether it's books, art, painting, lifting weights, all different topics which the client is leading. He's not telling the client what to do, what to talk about. He's just allowing his client to go wherever he wants within the space, smoke, do what he needs to do in order to feel that he can talk. And that allows for a free session where we can talk about anything that we want. It's not about the therapist telling the client what to do. It's about the client showing the therapist what they want to talk about and the therapist following.
Because the colors are fascinating to me.
Are they really? What about that?
I think you're about one step away from cutting your fucking hair off.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I think I should move to the south of France, change my name to Vincent.
You ever heard the saying, any port in a storm?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that means you.
In what way?
Maybe you're in the middle of a storm, a big fucking storm.
Yeah.
The sky's falling on your head, the waves are crashing over your little boat, the oars are about to snap. You're just pissing your pants, you're crying for the harbor, so maybe you did what you gotta do to get out. Maybe you became a psychologist.
Bingo. That's it. Let me do my job now.
This is a classic way that a frightened person acts, a fight or flight response here, because he's feeling a little bit too vulnerable and a bit too scary. And do you see how the therapist, he just stands there. He's calm, he's collected, and he tells his client, yeah, you're right. You got me. Come on, let's get back down to work now. He's not scared and he's not frightened because he knows that his client wants help. He knows that that's what he's feeling in him right now.
Come on. Maybe you married the wrong woman.
Maybe you should watch your mouth.
I'm not sure. I think personally, I would have said, look, that's not something that I want to talk about, rather than watch your mouth. That seems a little bit too abrasive and aggressive. I don't want to heighten that aggression. I just want to leave it there. Therefore, it's great that he stopped the conversation going any further, because that was his boundary, but maybe I'd have said it a little bit softer than that.
Well, that's it, isn't it? You married the wrong woman. What happened? Why'd she leave you? Was she, banging some other guy?
If you ever disrespect my wife again, I will end you.
Wow, I mean, that aggression there, there's something going on with the therapist. And that's something that the therapist maybe should go to therapy to try and solve, because it's not fair that he should be aggressive or violent or anything like that towards anyone, let alone his client. So I 100% don't agree with the way that the therapist acts there. And this is why it's so important for therapists to go to therapy, to understand what our triggers are and understand why it is that we feel and act and think the way that we do too. Otherwise, you'll have these situations in which you let go and you can't control yourself. And that isn't right in any situation. Okay, that's the end of the first clip. Let's get on with the second one.
Dr. Rings, I really need to talk to you.
Emily. Yeah, I just got your message.
I was getting on the subway and it was like when I was in the car.
Well, I think it's important that the client feels able, if it is an emergency, the client feels able just to have the space that they need to talk to the therapist. In the same way that if you're talking to a friend and you don't want to tell someone else something, you want to tell them, that you need to take yourself away from that environment. And I think it's important there that the therapist actually says, come on, let's go and have a chat about this. What's wrong? Rather than expecting the vulnerable client to talk about whatever they want to talk about with a third party there who she doesn't trust. She's done so much work seemingly to get to this point where she feels able to go on the subway or to take a risk.
I have to go to work. I just need 5 minutes.
Well, she doesn't need to. Why is it that he is expecting her to be that candid and to say what she wants to say when someone else is there? She can feel her judgment. This poor client has come and found their therapist in desperate need to talk to him. And if it's something that's happening all the time, fair enough, something needs to be said within the therapy setting, but to come and find him and to be told, you can just say what you want to say. I'm having my dinner now. I'm sitting here with my wife. That seems really disrespectful, doesn't it? Someone's in need and he's not helping her.
You're gonna get to work after. Okay, 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Call me after the interview.
And it's if someone's in desperate need, you have to help them. But then have a discussion about how we can make sure that this doesn't happen again. But the initial desperation with his client and just saying, yeah, I'm having dinner, what's wrong? Talk, my wife is here next to me. I'm not sure how ethical that is.
And was that difficult for you, seeing Bobby like that?
I was scared. Not that he was gonna hurt me or anything. Just, seeing someone lose it like that. It reminded me of how I feel sometimes.
How's that?
Like I'm on the verge of just blowing up. All the stress and pressure and anxiety just bubbling up. But I'm never able to let it out like that. I just keep it inside.
Have you always felt that way?
So you see how the therapist there is just allowing the client to talk. Very short interactions, very short statements, just opening up certain avenues rather than saying, don't act like that, don't be like this. Allowing the client to be whoever they want to be within that therapy session and being able to be open to anything going on in order to help that person.
Well, not when I was a kid.
Tell me about it.
Tell me about it.
What do you mean?
About a time you remember being happy, carefree.
There was this one day back in 8th grade. It wasn't that long ago, but time felt different back then. Like there was more of it. We spent the morning at Coney Island.
Look at this memory, vibrant, and he's connecting to a part of himself that maybe he hadn't thought about in a long time. Creating a way to go, it's okay that I relate to the world in the way I do because this is the way that I've been taught to relate to it. It's not my fault. This is why looking at the past and doing more, it's called psychoanalytic therapy, is so important in terms of anyone's growth and change. So to be able to connect this client to their childhood is such an easy way in order to understand something in the future is something I 100% recommend. I mean, this is the foundations of therapy. Sigmund Freud, a psychoanalyst, created this way of understanding our ways of relating to the world based on our past.
Afterwards, we rode our bikes through Bay Ridge. Sunset Park.
It's funny, isn't it? In this scene, you're focusing on what the story of the client, what they're presenting. But as a therapist, I'm in my head, I'm clicking, looking at that lineage, looking at this whole story, where you went, what happened there, what happened there, what happened there. And I'm making a mental note of that so I can get an understanding of how that client works, so that we can get a picture of how they're remembering things and what those key events were. In this situation, it's locations. What is it that's so important about those locations? How do they make you feel being in that location, being with those people? Why did those locations, why did those parts of the story come alive? Why did you want to tell me about those?
Girls, grades, parents, 2 wars, impending environmental catastrophe, a messed up economy. All these things seem to come out of nowhere, like on the same day.
Craig, there is a saying that goes something like, Lord, grant me the strength to change the things I can, the courage to accept the things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference.
The therapist there was great. She didn't say, you should do this, you should do that. She trusts that her client, what parts of life can they not change and what parts can they? What do they need to focus their lives on? It's nice to see a therapy scene where she's not writing anything down or telling her client what to do. She's just leaving it open to them and giving them the responsibility to make the change for themselves, which is empowering. Okay, on to the next scene.
Hi.
Can I help you?
I'm supposed to have an appointment with Dr. McKay.
Oh, sorry. Please come in.
That's interesting. That the client just walks straight in. She hasn't prepped him. She hasn't told him anything. She just said, oh, sorry, yeah, and I'm going to stop what I'm doing. Where's the time with this? I run punctually on time. In this situation, he's just wandered in. I mean, has she got no checks in place? She's halfway through eating. Maybe she's got mess. She needs to prepare herself. How much can you trust them to put your needs first?
You're Adam.
Yeah. And aren't you supposed to, be wearing an earth tone sweater and be like 65 or something?
Oh, did someone say I looked like that?
No. I'm just.
And she's
sorry,
standing up.
If you don't.
I mean, who's the therapist here? He's asking her questions, and she's standing there looking a bit scared. Maybe it's her first day on the job. I don't know, but still, even in my first day, it meant that I took even more precautions.
You seem a little young to be a doctor.
Technically, I'm not a doctor yet. I'm actually working on my doctorate.
Oh,
No,
okay.
Yeah, this is a training hospital.
I see. So have you had very many patients? Or?
My patient history is not like.
I'm your first patient, aren't I?
No.
Uh-huh.
No, not at all.
Second?
No.
So it's a placement, and this is something that I had to do. Unpaid placement, working in different mental health charities with clients, talking to them and being their counsellor. I still had a level of training. I still knew what to do, and it allowed me to cut my teeth, understand how to be the best counsellor I could be.
Well, Dr. Ross filled me in on your situation.
Yep.
That's interesting. That's not something that I've ever done. No one fills me in. Even if they've had an initial consultation with someone else, I'd ask them to sit down and tell me in their own words what it is they're going through, rather than me reading a piece of paper and looking at what someone else has written. I want to hear what the client has to say. Getting an understanding of what they're going through in their own words is so much more powerful than reading a dossier or it on a piece of paper.
How do you feel right now?
Fine. Yeah, I feel. You know, I can't remember being so calm in a long time.
That's a really common symptom in patients like yourself. Actually, your body's in survival mode, so what you're experiencing
Patients
is
such as
shock.
yourself. I mean, she hasn't even understood what he's going through yet. In patients like you should be fine. You should be calm. I mean, what does that sort of minimizes this client's whole point of view? The whole reason they're there is, yeah, it's fine, everything's great, yeah, great. I mean, it's time for him to leave, I guess, right? But she's minimizing the emotional tension of, tell me about fine. What's going on for you right now? You're fine. Tell me about what that means for you.
Fine.
Right, but that's why you're feeling that, the sense of calm. Like, would you describe what you're feeling as a kind of numbness?
No, described as fine.
Because certain patients feel
I
like...
feel great.
Well, that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful.
And that's the problem with diagnosing anyone, is you're labeling them and saying, this is the reason why you do this. Almost like a machine. You feel this because of this. That's it, nothing else. Let's not get an understanding of why it is actually you're here. It makes her or the practitioner feel safe, but it doesn't allow that patient or client to work out what's going on for them. Looks like the final clip. Let's see how we get on.
Let me just set the record straight about last night. Hurting my mother was a mistake, and I hate myself for it, and I hate my illness, and I want to control it. My father, on the other hand, had no trouble slapping the shit out of me last night, which I did not return because I could have killed him, and I didn't. He's 65 years old. You don't think I could have beat the shit out of him? I mean...
You were scared for your mother, and you hurt him as well.
Yes, last night was a mess. Okay, and I think he probably just tried to do his best.
But you have to have a strategy. I told you earlier. You need to recognize these feelings coming to you. Otherwise, you will be sent back to Baltimore. So when you get these feelings, you need to get to a quieter place with peace with yourself.
Recognize the feelings. And once you know those feelings, such as anger, frustration, sadness even, you go, okay, I feel these things. What do I do in this situation? I like this. It's a bit more directive than the other therapists that we've seen. But he's just saying, now you know this. You have this knowledge. What do you want to do with it? Work out how you're going to sit with it, divert it, and actually use it to your advantage.
Why did you have this overwhelming urgency to see your wedding video last night?
Oh, I don't know, because I'm married and I haven't seen my wife in 8.5 months.
Maybe you think that Nikki's not around and Tiffany's an attractive girl, and if you get drawn towards Tiffany, you will spoil your chances of getting Nikki back to you.
Not bad, Dr. Jones. But I don't think I'm going to blow it with Nikki because Tiffany's a slut.
Why is she a slut?
After the dinner at Ronnie's, she said, quote, we can go to the back house and you can fuck me as long as we turn the lights out. Unquote. And she still wears a wedding ring. So she's a loyal married to a dead guy slut.
Maybe she just needs a friend, and she thought that if she offers you sex, it will be easier for you to become friends with her.
She said she's not a whore anymore. But she likes that part of herself, along with all the other parts of herself. And can I say the same? Can you? Is that you're asking that? You're really asking me that question?
Yes.
All my crazy sad shit.
Very, very, very defensive. But as I say, the best form of defense is attack. He's like, are you really asking me that? This is what she said, quote unquote. You know, even in his voice, he's saying, get the hell away from me. I have done nothing wrong. It's her fault. Nothing to do with my problems. It's my dad's fault. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. The counsellor sitting back, just saying, tell me about it. And as the story's going on, it's starting to unravel a little bit. And he's getting more and more pushy. He's saying, get away from me. Don't talk to me like that. Are you really asking me that? You know, but a client says that to me because that is what they're feeling with everyone all the time. And no one else has been able to usually sit with that anger, that frustration, that aggression, because that has a message. There's something behind that. You have to be held accountable for that. And you can really start to hold the mirror up to yourself and go, this is why I act in this way. And that counselor, that therapist, he's not going anywhere. He's there no matter what.
All my crazy sad shit? What are you, fucking nuts?
Pat, the silver lining thing is yours. I'm just giving back your words to you. This crazy sad shit, as you call it, made you a happier, calmer person with a beautiful, positive philosophy of going outdoors, working out, and reading books.
No, not the books.
You said Nikki's friends with Ronnie, Veronica, and Tiffany.
Nice. He remembers verbatim exactly what he said. That's fantastic skills to say, this is what you said to me. And the client might say, no, I didn't. I didn't say anything like that. You actually repeat it back, their words to them. They're hearing exactly what they're thinking and what they're saying. All of a sudden, things are starting to come into line, and they start to be held accountable for what they say and what they think and how they act. And that's fantastic. Being held accountable doesn't mean they're right or wrong. That's what they're living with all the time. And to hear it back to you is a very, very powerful technique. Something which not many people get to hear their words played back to them.
So if you become friends with Tiffany, Nikki will think that you're a kind, generous, large-hearted person who helps people in need, who is basically thriving. So if you help Tiffany, it will be good for you.
And there we are, hearing it back, and you can see in his eyes, he's thinking about something. Is he right? And if I'm not right, if I said something like that and I'm not right, that's okay. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me what it is that means to you, why you acted in that way. And be honest, be upfront. That's the end of the video. Hope you've enjoyed it. And remember, if you like it, please do remember to subscribe to see plenty more videos to come. Anything that you want me to react to, let me know. Or any other issues that you want me to talk about. And I can try and do a video in the future. Look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.